Good evening, I'm Peter Marshall. Workers in the region's motor industry are tonight welcoming news that the new Vauxhall Astra is to be built at Ellesmere Port in Cheshire. General Motors says it's investing £80 million in the plant. The move will secure 3,000 jobs. Andy Gill reports.
The news Vauxhall workers were waiting for was delivered 200 miles away from Cheshire, General Motors briefing the stock exchange in London first. But word quickly reached workers here.
It's great news, I think, for the plants and Ellesmere Port. Good for the British industry.
Ellesmere Port currently makes the Astra and Vectra models, and senior managers are warning the workers that there's no room for teething troubles with the new Astra, as there were when the new Vectra was launched.
There's competitors who are coming out of different cost environments, and we need to just keep improving and making sure that we're aware of those competitive challenges. So I would say Ellesmere Port has opportunities to continue to improve its productivity and needs to keep working on that.
Vauxhall haven't released any pictures of the new Astra yet, but it's going to look very different from existing models. It'll be aimed at a younger market, people in their early 20s who are ambitious, so it's going to look sporty compared to its predecessors. That's something one industry expert says is just what Vauxhall need.
They're a company which desperately needs new product. They've got the Vectra into the marketplace. That isn't a big success. They definitely need a sexy successor to the car behind us, the Astra.
The new Astra will be on sale next spring.
Lawyers representing the serial killer Harold Shipman say they're collecting evidence which could prove his convictions are unsafe. They believe the way post-mortem results from his victims were presented in court was flawed. The legal team says despite objections from his victims' families, Shipman is within his rights.
If there are arguable grounds for an appeal, why should Dr. Harold Shipman be excluded simply because of the alleged offences? That would be wholly wrong, and I don't think that even the relatives of the victims could even consider that British law wouldn't be applied.
The government has promised new measures to prevent scientists using the organs of the dead without their families even knowing about it. It follows a report into the case of Cyril Isaacs from Prestwich, whose brain was passed to researchers at Manchester University without his wife's permission. Carol Lowe reports.
In 1987, Cyril Isaacs committed suicide. After a post-mortem at Prestwich Hospital, his brain was given to medical researchers. His wife Elaine only found out what had happened 2 years ago.
In a case like ours, it's just gone straight for research, which is, you know, against the Human Tissue Act, it's against the coroner's rules, and there was no need because it wasn't required for establishing the cause of death.
A report into his case says that from 1985, hundreds of brains were kept for research from post-mortems in the Manchester area without the knowledge of relatives. Mr. Isaacs' brain was kept here at Manchester University Medical School. The government has apologised for what happened.
These practices belong to the past, and we've made clear within the NHS that these sorts of practices are now completely unacceptable.
Manchester University today issued a statement saying, since that time the university has very substantially enhanced its ethical approval procedures to ensure that comparable incidents cannot recur. A helpline has been set up for families who have been or think they may have been affected. The free phone number is 0800 838 909 and will be open for the next fortnight.
A man who used an air rifle to shoot passers-by on a busy road in Blackburn has been jailed for 2 years. Preston Crown Court heard how 36-year-old Ian Taylor shot 3 men and a woman from the window of a second-floor flat. Taylor, who's from Blackburn, was arrested by an armed response unit which was called to the scene. Merseyside police are trying to trace 2 men who robbed a newsagent at gunpoint. They locked him in his shop in Stanley Road in Bootle before escaping with cash on Friday. The men fled down a nearby side street. The Barrow MP John Hutton is pushing a campaign to save the North West shipbuilding industry. He's been trying to win support from a number of other politicians who've been visiting the town's shipyard today. BAE wants to move production of the Type 45 destroyer from Barrow to the Clyde. The North West otters population is on the increase. The Environment Agency and the Wildlife Trust say the animals are returning to parts of North Lancashire and South Cumbria. The increase is being put down to improvements in water quality. Now here's a story to warm your cockles. It concerns Zach, a 2-year-old terrier who was buried beneath mounds of earth when he stuck his head down a foxhole in Manchester's Clifton Country Park. Thankfully, he was saved by firefighters, the RSPCA and a timely bark, as Philip Bromwell reports.
Friends reunited. 10-year-old Dylan and 2-year-old Zach. Happy enough now, but it was a different story when Zach went missing.
I felt sad and upset, and everyone else was upset. I didn't know where he was and what happened to him, so I was just scared really of him hurting himself.
Zach was in a hole, quite literally. This area of earth on the banks of the River Irwell was excavated to get him out again.
He was about to give up. They said, we've been digging, you know, we can't hear him. He's more than likely if he's in there, like dead. So I thanked him and said, well, you've done your best. And the next thing, the fireman said, I can hear something. So the RSPCA lady jumped down, I jumped down, and we could hear him barking. So I said, yeah, I can hear him. So anyway, they started digging and digging and digging, and he finally come out.
After a shampoo and a good meal, Zach was back, although he'll be on a lead for the time being.
Lucky little doggy. And on to the weather. Showers this evening, some of them heavy with possible thunder. Lowest temperature 5 Celsius. Tomorrow bright spells but also plenty of rain, again heavy at times. Top temperature 12. The outlook for Wednesday, isolated showers in the morning but mainly fine in the afternoon. Top temperature 13. That's it from me. Now back to George Alagaya in London. Good night.